You may not be where you want to be yet, but you're no longer where you were. You no longer tolerate what drains you. You speak softer to yourself. You pause, reflect, and choose instead of react. And that is something to honor. This is adapted from Rebecca Zong. Rebecca Zong, Esquire, is the founder of the online virtual divorce masterclass programs, Breaking Free from Divorce, and the founding partner of the law firm office of Zong Claw PLLC, a preeminent marital and family law firm. Welcome back to Light and Shadow. I'm your host, JF. Today I'm talking about recovery 9 months after narcissistic abuse. At 9 months post-narcissistic abuse, you are likely transitioning out of survival mode and beginning to rebuild your identity. This stage is often defined by fluctuating emotions, shifting trauma bonds, and a clearer realization of what you endured. Emotional states at 9 months. Healing is nonlinear, so it's normal to experience a mix of milestones and setbacks. Decreased hyperarousal. Your nervous system is regulating. The constant adrenaline and anxiety of waiting for the next shoe to drop are likely subsiding. And I can tell you from personal experience that it is so. I realized not long ago how my nervous system was in such a hyper state all the time. And it was driving my anxiety through the roof. Now, I am calm, I am composed, I can think much clearer. Second, the wave of grief. It is common around this time for profound grief to surface. This isn't necessarily missing the abuser, but rather mourning the time lost, the fantasy of the relationship, and the betrayal. Now, this can happen 3 months after, 6 months after, a year and a half after. It's all dependent on who you are and what kind of work you are doing on yourself. Third, cognitive dissonance fading. You are finally accepting the reality of the situation rather than trying to rationalize their behavior or hold on to the idealized version of them. And this is a big step. Trying to rationalize their behavior is like trying to hold water in a bucket that's full of holes. It's not going to happen. And idolizing the version of them, meaning realizing that you idolized what you saw the best version of them could be, it's not going to get you anywhere either because they will never be able to achieve that. They're incapable of it. 4, trauma bonding. And that's a big one. You may still experience urges to check their social media or wonder how they are doing. This pull is the trauma bond, which can take a very long time to break. Luckily for me, I did intense work, especially on that, to break the trauma bond. Not once have I even come anywhere near to go look at their social media. I don't care. I realize what they've done. And my game is to cut them off. No contact, cut them off completely, and that's all there is to it. So, what to focus on right now? To accelerate your healing and to protect your peace, focus on the actionable steps. 1, radical no contact. If you haven't already, ensure 100% no contact. This includes blocking all numbers, emails, and avoiding mutual friends who feed information, the flying monkeys. Identify triggers. Make a list of what sparks flashbacks, anxiety, or the urge to reach out to them. Disarm these triggers by understanding them and having a distraction plan ready. What I did was to distract myself with hobbies. Whenever I felt overwhelmed or slowly thinking about them, I would go and do my hobbies, whichever they may be for you. Or you can try meditation, you can try journaling. There's so many things you can do. Reclaim your core. Narcissistic abuse often alienates you from your own interest and passions. Do the things you were told were bad or things you gave up to keep the peace. Self-compassion. Avoid self-blame. Survivors often berate themselves for not leaving sooner or not seeing the red flags. Treat yourself with the same grace you would a friend in the same situation. And that is so important. Be kind to yourself. What you went through wasn't your fault. You have zero blame in this. So be kind to yourself and give yourself grace. It's really important. Where to find support? If you are still struggling with trauma symptoms, know that complete recovery takes time, typically 1 to 3 years. Seeking professional help is highly recommended. And that's what I did. Therapy. Look for therapists specializing in relation trauma, narcissistic abuse, or complex PTSD. You can use the Psychology Today Therapist Finder to filter for these specialties. Support group. Sharing your experience with others who understand can be incredibly validating. Look for local or virtual peer groups on platforms. And this is what I did when I started this podcast. It was me just reaching out and telling my story in the hopes that other people who had a story like mine would reach out, and they did. And I ended up talking to people that I have no absolutely there and had wonderful conversations with them about what we went through. And when you find somebody who went through the same thing you went through, it sheds lights in places where you didn't know were in darkness. Because what you experience and what the other person experienced, although are similar, they have had experience that are very dissimilar to yours, and so have you to them. But in comparing notes, you find a lot of similarities and things that you didn't think of before can be brought up by other people, and you're like, oh my God, that did happen to me too. And that is healing. So recovery doesn't happen on a strict timeline. Be patient with your progress and recognize that feeling indifference towards a narcissist is a major victory on the road ahead. So again, I'm asking, what have you done this week to shine your light? This podcast is me shining my light for all to receive by answering deep questions. I spend the week helping users explore their own spiritual journey, understanding sacred texts, and unpack philosophical questions. I've also provided comfort and guidance by retrieving actionable information and thoughtful perspectives. I've encouraged people to navigate life's transition, find local communities, and discover ways to give back to their neighborhood. I did that today. I went to the grocery store and there was a police officer there taking food donations for people in need. So while I was in the stores, I picked up a few more things and I left it with the police officer there who will distribute them to the community that needs it. Encouraging mindfulness. I've been disseminating information on topics like meditation, journaling, and self-care so people can easily find the tools they need to center themselves. Also, the message I carefully answer on an almost daily basis. It's also me shining my light. And even if I only reach one person a week, you know what? My job is done. So go ahead this week, shine your light, help others. Sometimes it takes 5 seconds. Sometimes it's just a smile that will light up somebody's life. And by you shining your light, it actually activates that person to shine their own light. And it goes on and on and on. And that way we can make the world a better place. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoy and learn. And as always, I wish you all love, light, and shadows. Until next week.